Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for this quick presentation of Twinmotion. My name is Martin, I'm product manager on the software. In today's presentation is divided in 4 different parts. First, I will make a quick introduction of what is Twinmotion, what it is used for. Then I will switch to a live demo of Twinmotion 2018. And then I will present you all the major features introduced with Twinmotion V2 update. And then at the end, I will take time to answer all of your questions. So if during the presentation you have some questions, just keep them in mind and I will answer all of them at the end. So first off, let's start with what is Twinmotion. So Twinmotion is a 3D real-time visualization software dedicated to architecture built on top of the Unreal Engine. So for those of you who don't know what is the Unreal, it's a real-time application that is most commonly used for gaming, but it's also used a lot across the industry. For example, the automobile use it a lot for real-time rendering. And now we use the Unreal Engine to create a professional software dedicated to architecture. And when I'm saying real-time, it's really real-time. Here is a quick comparison between an image generated with a standard rendering software. It took almost 1 hour to render compared to an image generated with Twinmotion. And actually it was not generated with Twinmotion. It was the quality I had inside the viewport while I was working on my project. Second image, the same idea. First project, there is a bit more light, a bit more reflection, so it took me 1 hour and a half to create this image on a 2K resolution. And the second image, it was again the quality I had in my viewport while I was working on this project on my 4K monitor. So it's really a completely new way to approach rendering. You are not anymore just pressing the render button and go out for lunch or just go to the coffee machine, and when you come back at your desk you just see the render, and sometimes it's not that great, so you have to tweak a few things like change the reflection, enhance the light for example, and click again on the render button, and it's really time consuming. Now with Twinmotion everything can be done in real time. When we designed the software, our main goal at the start wasn't to create a software that creates render really quickly. Our main goal was to create a software with a simple UI, some kind of plug-and-play software that once you have installed the software, you can right away work with it, produce with it. We really wanted to step away from the tons of settings of other rendering software where sometimes you just tweak one value and the render time double or triple. Our main goal was to really to create something really graphic with a lot of icons. So wherever you are inside the software with just the iconography, you can say, okay, here I'm in the nature type, I'm changing the weather. And on top of that, our major thing that we introduced with our latest version of Twinmotion was what we call the add-in. The add-in is for both ArchiCAD and Revit, and it allows a direct link between the CAD software and the visualization software. So you are in Revit or ArchiCAD, in just one click you can synchronize your project to Twinmotion and begin to visualize it in real time right away. And then in Twinmotion, in just one other click, you can switch to VR. So in previous workflow, before that, we had to have dedicated people to create those VR experiences. And in small architecture firm, nobody has those skills. You have to have a lot of knowledge on a real-time engine. So now using Twinmotion, this can be done in only 2 clicks. So now let's switch to the live presentation. So here I am in Twinmotion. It's just after the synchronization I was talking to you. And actually it's in real time. I can really travel inside my project and discover it at this level of quality. During this synchronization, we do a few things. For example, we change the materials. Inside the CAD software, you have a native library of materials, but it's just a basic diffuse texture, a low definition diffuse texture. And during this synchronization, we automatically replace all those textures by Twinmotion physically correct materials. We do the same with the characters, the cars, and the vegetation. Usually, inside CAD software, the vegetation is just a basic billboard with the shape of a tree. And during this synchronization, we automatically replace all those billboards by Twinmotion trees which are affected by the weather and the seasons. Talking about that, let's jump into the Nature tab, Weather. So here I have two main sliders. The first one is controlling the cloud coverage. So if I start to drag this one here, cloud will appear, and at some point it will rain, which will affect all the material of my project. The second slider here is controlling the season. So we start at the summer, all the trees here are green. We are approaching fall. Leaves start to get reddish and start falling from trees. And now winter is coming. We also have an automatic occluding system that prevents particles from going in, so it will never rain or snow inside the project. So let's switch to our sunny summer and grab some altitude. So all those trees that you can see on the background here has been automatically replaced during this synchronization. But I can of course add trees directly from Twinmotion library. It's just a basic drag and drop from the library to the viewport. I can even create a multi-selection by holding the Control key. I select those two trees, and now at each time I will click inside the viewport, this Twinmotion will randomly select one tree from my selection and add it to the project. And because it's in the tree folder, it will take a random rotation and a random scale, so you won't see the repetition. To add vegetation even more quickly, we also have a paint tool. So here I will select those three trees. I will use my pen, my pencil here to just paint some tree directly onto my project. So normally here is supposed to be a small area of water, a small pond. So we'll open the material library, scroll down to the water material and just drag a material onto my project. I can change the opacity, the reflection of it. Let's now just work a bit on the edge over here. So I will come back to the vegetation section, rocks. I'll just drag a few rocks on the side here. Now that's done, maybe let's add a few bush on our water. So here I know that we have some lotus plant. Maybe a few one with some flowers as well. And finally, the last thing that I want to add is in the character section, animals, it's some butterfly. So in just a few minutes, as you can see, I've created this image, this point of view actually. So let's now switch to the media section, image. Here I will click on the plus, this will create a new image. I can of course adjust a bit my image to be more focused on the project, for example. Click on the refresh button. And now I can right away export this image. I will send this to my desktop. With Twinmotion, by default, we export the image on a 2K resolution. But with Twinmotion, we can go up to 9K. And here is the image we just generated in a few seconds. Back to Twinmotion, let's just quit this mode. And what I want to show you now is what we call the beam motion mode. The beam motion mode is a full screen mode where you can enable the physics. So here I'm currently walking on the ground. And it's really an immersive way to travel, to navigate around your project. You can really put you inside the eyes of the future user, of the future person that will be inside the project. And if you had a VR headset plugged in, it's just a one click to switch to VR. So I'll just switch here and enable the drone. So as you can see, it's a pretty large project. It's an international airport in number of polygons. Let me just open the statistic panel. we are at 0.2 billion polygons. So yes, as you can see, it's a really big project. So at any moment with Twinmotion, we can also change the time. So just click on the small eye icon here, and here I can visualize my project up at noon or at sunset. Right now the space feels a bit empty, so maybe it's time to add some characters. I will open back my library, switch to the human section, and here we have a complete library of 3D animated characters. To add the characters exactly like I did with the tree, it's just a basic drag and drop from the library to the viewport. And once my character is inside my project, here I have the option regarding this character. I can change the color preset so I won't see the repetition. I can change the pose, maybe he's in idle state, maybe he's lying on the ground, or maybe he's even dancing. And even after I choose a pose, I can choose an animation. So maybe he's doing this dance, or maybe he's doing the Gangnam Style dance. I can even switch to the special section. For example, he could be playing piano, or it could be useful just to check if the project is PRM ready. To populate the whole project, it could be time consuming by drag and dropping one character at a time like this. This is why we also have a group section. If I select this group of 3 people here, at each time I will click, Twinmotion will randomly add some characters from the whole library of Twinmotion. So as you can see here, we don't have any repetition. Next thing that we have created to add even more animation is what we call the path system. The path system is here in the urban section, character path. Here I will simply use my pen to create a spline. And once I release my tool, people will automatically start walking on my spline. And really with Twinmotion, our main goal was really to create a software simple with a really friendly user UI. So this UI consists of 3 major panels. The first one on the left, it's the library of the software that is native. Here you will find all the materials, the vegetation, the characters. We also have a user library that allows you to import your own model, create your own materials, and save them directly inside Twinmotion library, so you will have access to them for every future project. At the bottom of the screen, the second panel is what we call the dock. Here you will find all the options, the tools, and the settings. For example, here my path of characters is still selected, so I have all the options regarding this path. I can change, for example, the ethnicity of people. If I switch to Asia, if I have a project, for example, in Asia, I can choose to have more Asian people. I can change the activity. If I switch to travel, people will more likely have some bags and luggage with them. Can even change the width or the density of people. Finally, the third panel is the one on the right, is what we call the scene graph, the scene manager. It's basically where you keep all the hierarchy of your project. And also all the hierarchy of your imported model will be saved. It works the same way as Photoshop, so it's a layer system that you can turn on and off. You can create folder and put an object inside folder. So here I've already set up a folder with a few more people. Let's just annihilate it. So we use this path system to animate a few things with Twinmotion, like this plane taking off, there is another one that is parking, all the characters that are walking inside the project, but also to animate vehicles. So if I open back my urban section, if I now click on the vehicle path, same as I did with my character, I will just quickly create my spline. And now here I have the option regarding these new paths. I can change the number of lane, the lane offset, the density of vehicle, or even the speed of the car. And at any moment, I can visualize this project like this during daylight, or you can switch to the night. And when the sun comes down, the lights automatically lights up. For the cars, as you can see here on the side, the street light, the light inside my project, but also the context. We used to know that architects don't take time to work on the surrounding of the project. This is why we have created inside the urban section the background option. Here you can switch from one background to another, and you can change the rotation to better match the perspective of the image you are trying to recreate. At the end, with Twinmotion, we can export 4 different types of media. We can export image, we already saw that, up to 9K resolution. We can export panorama, up to 8K. We even have an online platform where you can change those panorama. It's called Twinlinker, and it gives you a link that you can share to whoever you want. You can open this panorama on your tablet, on your smartphone. You can export also a video and a 360 video, and even actually a 360 3D video. And finally, we have also what we call the BeamMotion. The BeamMotion is a standalone exe file that you can send to whoever you want. It doesn't require Twinmotion. It's basically just a way to immerse your client or your coworker inside the project. So that's it for this quick introduction of Twinmotion. So I saw that there is a few questions on the chat. I will take the time at the end of the presentation to answer all of them. So let's just switch back to my slide, and now I just wanted to talk a bit about what we introduced with our latest patch, Twinmotion v2. First, this patch was really driven by the community. We listen a lot to the comments. We take a lot of feedback from our user, for example, on Facebook, on our user group on Facebook, on the comment on different other social media, but also on our support platform, on the forum. We take all those feedback, and it is really based on those that we focused the development, the future development of the software. So the major feature that we introduced with this new update was really much requested by our community. So for example, here, the first option is the environment option. I will make a few back and forth from Twinmotion to this slide just to show you where is this new option and what it does. So yes, the environment option. The environment option, you can find them inside the Nature tab, Weather, Settings. And here we have a lot of new options to just customize a bit more your project, like the sun intensity, the ambient lighting. You can raise or lower the ambient cube map that illuminate the whole project. You can use the white balance to make your image a bit warmer or a bit colder. We even have a real-time global illumination just to simulate the bounce of the light inside your project, and a few other options. After that, we have the particle system. The particle system, you can find them inside the library, just over here. And inside this particle system, you will find some small fires, some waterfalls, some smoke. We also have some fog banks. So for example, here, if I just drag a few fog banks, let's just now get some coverage on our sky. I can add even more fog bank. And just in a few clicks, I've completely changed the atmosphere of my image. So Twinmotion can really be used as a prototyping tool. So in just a few seconds, as you can see, we switch from a sunny summer daylight to this really crappy day. So yes, it wasn't something that you can do in other rendering software, because it takes so much time to create those kind of effects that you usually end up never trying different way to visualize your project. But thanks to this real-time rendering, you can just be more creative and try different approach of your image. Next thing we have is the overdraw render option. The overdraw render option, it's a way to enhance the reflection of Twinmotion. So let me just switch back to Twinmotion. So to explain you how the overdraw works, I first have to explain you a bit how the reflection works inside a real-time application. Let me just first create an image. So inside all the real-time application, like Twinmotion, everything that is present inside the reflection is what's inside the viewport. So for example, if you are looking at this blue screen here, as soon as it's disappeared from my viewport, it won't be present anymore inside my reflection. It's an optimization automatically made by all the real-time engine on the market. So, so as you can see here, this is a problem because there is no more geometry information. It is just replaced by a basic ambient cube map of the scene. So by default, for example, if I just export this image on my desktop again without the overdraw, and I will just click on the more here to enable the overdraw. I will put it on max, start the export, send this to my desktop. So just show you a before and after. So this is the first images. As you can see here, you see the problem. It's just this blue line. It's because I don't have any information. And by enabling the overdraw, it will calculate extra pixel at the top, at the bottom, on the left, on the right. It will put all this information inside your reflection, and then it will crop the image at the resolution you have set up. So yeah, it's just really basically a way to enhance all the reflection inside Twinmotion. Then we have a huge pass on the save. On the save, we have added the auto save that you can set up with a number, a different number of save. We can also change the folder or set up the time of the automatic save. We have an incremental save that allows you to save under another name. We have the batch export that allow you to select all your different type of media, your image, your panorama, your video, and export all of them at once. We are also now compatible with Atlantis 6.5, so it's just from Atlantis, it's just an export.tmf file that now you can import inside Twinmotion as any other import. After that, we have the material apply mode. So to show you this, I have opened a new scene. This scene is has been synchronized from ArchiCAD. It's the Venezuela library. So here, as you can see here, it should be some glass panel, and each piece of glass is a separate object. And before the V2 update, when you were drag and dropping a material from the library to the viewport, we were into what we call the apply to object, meaning that when you are dragging a materials onto the viewport, it will apply this material on this specific object. And as you can see here, all my glass panel use the same materials. I just want to replace this white material by this glass material. This is why we have added the replace material option. So here I will just drag and drop this material. It will completely replace my white material by this new one. After that, what we have added is also a pack of interior plants. So here in the furniture section, home, living room, plants, we have a complete we have a complete set of 3D plants that you can add to your project just to enhance the library, just to show you that we keep working on the software, we keep adding stuff to our library to keep them we want to make them grow again more and more. And finally, the last thing that I want to show you is I've already shown you how you can quickly add a person in a wheelchair, but we can also animate them. So here I will use the custom pass. Same as I did before, I will just create my spline. By default, when you create a custom pass, it puts a white box. Here you have a few options that you can change, for example, the speed or the delay. And here you have the drop box where you can put another object that will replace this white box. So here I will switch to the character section. I will select the character I want, just drag and drop from the library to the box here. The box has been replaced, and now I will just switch to the special animation, and here we go. I have my people inside this wheelchair. So that's it for this presentation. So I will just put on in the back the trailer of this V2 update, and now I will start looking at the chat. So if you have some question now, feel free to ask them. I will stay there until I respond to all of them. So yes, plugin Revit and SketchUp. So right now there is a plugin for Revit that is free. It's on the Twinmotion website. And right now it's only for Revit and ArchiCAD. We have planned to create more in the future, so more will come. But right now it's only available for Revit and Revit and ArchiCAD, but not for SketchUp. In the release tree, can we have the parallax map in the shader customize? Yes, we have planned to add this map in the future version. So right now it's not possible, but we have planned to open up this channel to add a custom parallax map. So it will be possible in the future. And again, if you have more questions, please free to ask them. I'm here to answer all of them. Okay, tell me the spec. So yeah, the spec of the computer I'm using here, Twinmotion use mainly the graphic card. So here I'm running on this machine a Quadro P5000. So it's not the most the latest one, but it's really a great graphic card. So yes, it uses mainly the graphic card. It uses also the RAM a bit, especially during the import, but only during the import. All the time while you are working or when exporting media, it will only use the graphic card. Compatible with V-Ray? No, it's not compatible with V-Ray. It's a completely different software. How can I do a mirror? So right now it's not really possible to create a mirror inside Twinmotion. We are working on all these reflection aspects, so it will be better in the future. Right now the only way you can have a mirror is just by putting your camera on the side of the mirror to use the screen space reflection. Same as I did with the airport when I was showing the overdraw option. What you want to see inside the mirror has to be present inside the viewport. So you can't just put your camera right now in front of a mirror. It will be just this blue skyline. So you have to put your camera on the side, and then you will be able to use the screen space reflection to reflect the object present inside the viewport. So it's a limitation we are currently facing, but we have planned to enhance that in the future version. I can also invite you to come to our Facebook group. So we have on our Facebook we have the Twinmotion user group. It's driven by us, but also by our community. So a lot of people are creating image, video, and share them on this in this group. So yeah, please join us. It will be great, especially if you have other questions in the in the future. You will be able to ask them here. People are always there to help you to answer all of your questions. So there is no more question. I think I will stay 1 more minute, but if there is no more question, I will invite you, yes, as I said, to come to check out our Facebook page, and yes, Oh, yes, there is a more question. Is it possible to change the material using the VR mode? So right now, no, it's not possible. We have planned to enhance what is possible to do inside VR. So right now it's not possible, but it will be in the future. In the future, you will have more options in VR. Oh yeah, I see a few questions now. In Twinmotion, is it possible to import personal materials? So in Twinmotion, you can create your own material and you can import all the texture you have, so the diffuse, the normal map, the roughness map, the metallicness map, and the glow map. So you can import all those maps inside your material, and once you have created this material inside Twinmotion, you can even save this material directly inside your user library. If I change the 3D model, can I update it in Twinmotion? Yeah, of course. So as I said, Twinmotion is really has really been designed to be a prototyping tool. So of course, you keep working on your project inside your modeling software, and then in Twinmotion, you just refresh. And all the geometry, just the geometry you have changed will be changed inside Twinmotion. You won't lose all your work you have created inside Twinmotion. It will just be updated. I also put in the comment the link to the Facebook user group. So if you want to just have a chat with some member from the dev team or some member from the community, this will be a great place for that. How add import object in library? So to add an object to the user library, you just open the send graph on the right of the screen, and you click right click on the object you want to add to the user library, and there is an option called add to user library. As simple as that. Can you tell when the next update comes? No, I don't have this information right now. I can't communicate actually. I have it, but right now we don't communicate around that. But I can assure you that the whole team is working hard on this on the next version. So I think that's it for all the questions. So thank you everyone for attending this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you for the next one. Bye.